Good afternoon. I'm David Griffin with Meathead Charcoal. We're back again with our new series where I'm sitting down with passionate entrepreneurs in all types of industries to learn their stories about how they built their businesses from the ground up. We're going to hear all the details, the wins, the losses, the success, and figure out how they took an idea and turned it into something great. So whether you're looking at starting your own business or just love a good success story, we think you'll enjoy this series. So follow along with us as we get to know these wonderful people and businesses. So we're here today with Phil Bonelli, a friend of mine in Gainesville, Georgia, the owner of Hopewell Farms. To learn more about his business, is well known in our area for sustainable farming, and I can't wait to learn more about it. So Phil, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. The only way I could be better is if I currently had some Hopewell Farms meat cooked over some Meathead charcoal.
Wouldn't that be perfect?
It would be perfect.
But in lieu of that, we've got our pigs in the
are out here,
background.
yeah.
So tell us, Phil, a little bit about your history, because I know that you didn't start as a farmer, but tell us how you got here.
I didn't. I was a finance and Spanish major at UGA, Go Dogs, and I was a commercial banker. And up until just a year ago, I retired from being a banker. But in the middle of that, in 2019, my wife and I, we had 4 kids. Probably when this airs, we'll have 5. She's up at the house right now, just ready to pop out a baby. And we wanted a couple acres to run around on with our kids. So we found this house on 10 acres, and we loved it. But it was part of a 43-acre farm, and they're going to sell the 33 acres around it separate. So we didn't want anyone to build a subdivision around our little 10 acres. So we just worked some things out, and we had to put an apartment in the basement to rent it, to get a little income, to buy the whole thing. So it was kind of just a protective measure. And there was cows here. And the guy bought it from Ricky, great friend of mine, my neighbor. I said, you could just keep your cows here. I don't have any. I don't need 43 acres, so just keep your cows. Well, we said we want to try having some cows. So we bought 15 mama cows and a bull named Cadillac. God rest his soul.
He was a good one.
He was a good one. Cadillac the bull. He had horns on the hood. And Medea the donkey. We bought them in the spring of 2020. From Ricky, and started doing grass-fed beef. I knew nothing. I had read half a book, and I know how to type in YouTube. So we started figuring it out. We're still working at the bank, and we then just got into it. We got into like all natural foods and regenerative agriculture. So, which is building up land as you farm. It's farming in alignment with nature, which seems like what you'd want to do. It's not the common thing to do, but so we got chickens. We have pastured pigs, who right now is pig moving day. So those are our sows, our mama pigs. Pigs, chickens, turkeys. This year we'll probably harvest about 100 pigs. And we just sell meat directly to consumers. We'll probably do about 40 or 50 cows and 7,000 chickens and 1,000 turkeys.
Wow.
And I don't know how many tens of thousands of dozens of eggs. But so what kind of happened, we stumbled in it. And that's been a big lesson for me. Like, man, you don't know what path God has for you, but you just kind of take one step at a time, and don't be afraid to go big.
Well, it seems like from the outside, you've been pretty successful for it to only be 5 years and not have any type of history in farming. So what would you say was one of your biggest early obstacles that you weren't expecting?
Well, in a way, not having any history and knowing nothing was an advantage, because I was not burdened by how my dad did it or how my grandpa did it, because we do things very different than the current conventional model. Like, we don't spray any herbicides, we don't use chemical fertilizers, we don't use any dewormers. It's all natural. So it was very helpful not to be burdened by the way things were or the way I could craft, whatever things I thought, whatever methodologies I thought were the best. And I didn't create most of them. I read them in books or went to workshops, but I could just make my own way. So that was very helpful. Probably the biggest obstacle was just getting sales established. My product costs more than the industrial product at the store, and it's much better. I think it's a great value. But, when I first went to sell an $8 dozen of eggs, when eggs were $2 a dozen for cheap eggs at the store, that's hard. You have to get used to that and communicating your value. So just starting selling, which now I'm very comfortable with because I feel great about what we sell and the value, but that was probably the biggest challenge at first.
Do you feel like there was a point in there, something you can remember that was the pivotal moment where you sort of said, okay, we're rounding the bend, this is really working?
When the first year, I think we sold like $33,000 worth of meat and eggs. And I was still working full time. And I was like, that's a real number, And the next year we sold 100,000. And that's, I think, when I was like, well, I could sell 100,000. I could do whatever. And it's not about the money. I mean, no one's ever going to get rich doing this monetarily, and that's not even my goal. I feel very enriched that I get to live this life and do something I love. But money matters because you need to use that to fuel your mission. So that was just a moment when I hit six figures. Like, if I can do that, we can do whatever the heck we want to do.
What helped you take the leap from being a very successful local banker, great reputation, business mind, well thought of, to really take the leap to be a full-time entrepreneur? Because there's lots of people who feel like they want to be an entrepreneur and they want to run their own business, but it's a lot harder than it looks. So what gave you the confidence to be, this is what I'm going to do?
Well, I looked at my wife, Lindsay, and I said, if I could get this smoking hot babe to marry me, what can't I do? I say that just, but that's true. She's, but I think it is hard to make a leap, and there's lots of people that want to have their own business,
and some never do it.
Most never do it, but it really got to the point where I could not do it. I had to do it. And again, I started off, it was a very low risk. I had this W-2 job. That was very hard. I was working like 2 full-time jobs, but I did it, and I had my other job paying the bills and investing in the farm. But then as I went into, just kept doing and developed a passion, developed a model, it really was something that I could not keep myself from doing. I couldn't stay working for someone else anymore. I just couldn't. And it wasn't that I feel sure I'm going to make it. Everything in small business is very precarious. You could lose one key employee. You could have a key legal issue. There's so many things which could sink you. So you can't get to the point where you say, oh, it's totally safe, I can go do it now. But I couldn't refrain. I had to do it.
So what's your piece of advice now that you've done it? Let's say that you've got a young friend who's taken that leap. They're going to do it. So what's your first piece of advice you tell somebody once they've made that leap?
Well, you can't, life is short. I'm 40, and maybe I'll live to be 100. Maybe I'll die today. But I don't know. But I have a mission. God has me here for a purpose. And you got to go for it. There's no point in sitting around because you're trying to avoid difficulty. Every day has difficulty and challenge, whether you work for a big company, work for a small company, or work for yourself. So you got to go for it. You're here for a purpose. Go make it happen.
So in the vein of going for it, what are the qualities that you think, when you're helping people, that it takes to be a successful entrepreneur?
Well, you don't have to be a genius. I'm not one. But you have to be fully committed. You have to believe in what you're doing, because there are times it's very hard. So you need to buckle up, and you got to be willing to go for it. Um, you can't wait till there's a sure thing. That's Pierre the rooster. You gotta be bold, and you have to be willing to accept help. To start out, you have to wear so many hats, but as quickly as you can, you have to add people. Like Logan just walked by, he helps run the farm. He's so sharp at things in ways that I'm not. And I'm so thankful to have him. You got to build team. And that's actually, I thought I loved raising animals. I thought I loved regenerating land, and I do. But I love building up people the best. And so look for people who are on your team, even if they're not your employees yet. At first, you can't have any, you probably can't afford to. You can't even afford to pay yourself. But get a really good accountant. Get partners out there and buddies and team up. You're partnering with me. You're letting me be on your show. You know, so go build up people and serve people and put the right people in place.
It makes complete sense to me. So taking it back to the farm itself, all right? So you've done all this. We're 5 years in. What have you done to differentiate yourself in the market? What makes people want to buy those eggs from you?
Definitely, it is that we provide things that are all natural. I mean, there's not a chemical on my farm. We're not certified organic. We're organic plus, though. Everything's all natural. These pigs are moving around through the fields and pastures. They're not, and so they don't get any medicines. They don't need them because they're living a healthy life. So every day there are more people who watch a documentary on Netflix or hear a podcast and learn about how industrially raised meat is gross, and truly it is. And so we just are us. We want to raise an all natural product and share with people what that is. And our market keeps growing, which is great.
Is it mostly word of mouth? Is it marketing you're doing? Is it just your reputation building through customers?
All of the above. Because I'm passionate about what I do, it is better for the environment. It's better for people, and doggone it, I like it. I love to share that. So I go speak at conferences, at Rotary. So I go out and speak. We do a lot on Instagram. Hopewell Farms GA. I think it has an at Hopewell Farms GA, maybe is the Instagram handle. But go check that out. I mean, we do videos. We love to teach people about the farm. I used to do a free farm tour every single Saturday. Every Saturday morning, people would come to the farm. I had to dial that back to one Saturday a month. But still, we do that. And there's tons of people that come. So we love to educate and share the farm with people. And I don't care if they buy meat or not. I love it, and I want them to learn about it if they want to.
So what are your goals for the farm? What are you hoping to do? Are you happy with where you are? Are you trying to increase revenue? It's like you said, it's not driven by the money, but of course you have to have it to operate.
I definitely have big goals for the farm. And I do think there's a balance in entrepreneurship in life of being so thankful for where you're at. I'm so thankful. You get so busy, you have to stop and be intentional to not just look around at the next thing you want to do and say, God, thank you for what I have. I'm so thankful for this. Is great. But also be really pushing to do the next thing. So we currently are farming 91 acres. We own 43, release 48, so 91 total. I would love to be farming 1,000 acres. And I would love that to be a combination of acreage that we own and acreage that is in permanent conservation easements, meaning that we might lease land from somebody. Let's say somebody has a 200-acre farm that's been in their family, and they don't want to farm it, but they don't want it to be a subdivision. And so they can permanently protect it, and we can be partnering with them to farm on that in a way in alignment with nature. So what we're doing, it truly is so good for the environment. So I want to do 1,000 acres of that in the next 5 years. And I want this year, I want to have 250 families that we deliver to every single week. We have weekly deliveries every Wednesday. We have meat and eggs fresh from the farm delivered right to their doorstep. So I want to be doing that for 250 families this year. Those would be my two main goals. And I would like to do it in as organized way as possible. So when you're growing, you're running all around and you're just doing this and doing that. And at least in my journey, there were plenty of loose ends, because I'm going and working full time at the bank. I'm going and building this here. and I allowed things to be a little sloppy. So as I've been able to have all my focus on it, then I want to have things be tidy and orderly. I mean, it's a farm. There's lots of manure. I don't mean neat like that, but tools in their place, things in their place so we can be more effective. So I want 1,000 acres in 5 years, 250 families this year, and order so we can be most effective.
Well, that's great. I know you can accomplish it and look forward to seeing
Thank
it
you.
happen. So, since we're Meathead Charcoal, let's just think for a minute that the sun's gone down, a late day, hard day's work. Phil's getting ready to fire up his grill with his Meathead Charcoal. What is the best cut of meat we've got at the farm? What are you going with? What are we putting on the grill?
Man, that is hard to say. I got it. The first thing that comes to mind would be either smoked turkey or smoked chicken thighs, and with Alabama white sauce. And I love to smoke some turkey. So we're actually the largest provider of fresh turkeys in the state. So the week of Thanksgiving, people have pre-ordered. This year we'll do 1,000. And we harvest the turkeys the Monday of Thanksgiving week, and they come pick them up Tuesday or Wednesday. And these turkeys have been raised out in the pasture, not in some big warehouse. They've been eating grass, bugs, and weeds. They taste insanely good. And you spatchcock one of those bad boys, and you get it over some Meathead, Alabama white sauce. Woo!
It's going to be delicious.
It's going to be hard for me to make it the rest of the way through this interview. I want to go. Lucky I don't have any defrosted, so I can't rush off and make some.
So going back, what's the one piece of advice you would give young Phil before banking, before it all, knowing what all you know now on this journey? Because you've experienced different careers. What's the one piece of advice you would give yourself?
I had no idea that I'd be doing what I'm doing now. But much of what is possible now is just because I did my best at where I was before. So I did not have a plan to go have a farm. But a lot of things are possible because of the things that I just put forth my best effort at as a banker or, as a volunteer. So do your utmost wherever you're at. And always look for opportunities and always be learning and serving. Always be learning. I mean, I literally knew nothing about farming. I didn't know anything about meat or regulations, or we have a poultry processing plant. And you can learn anything. And if you're out serving people, it's insane the amount of blessing I have received of I'm just talking with people about my business and they have a connection here or there that just knows things I need to know, and people help me. So go serve, go learn, and just do your best.
So knowing that you didn't know anything going into farming, you've acknowledged you read half of a book.
Well, I've read a lot more since then. Yeah.
In the beginning. But what's the one thing you wish you would have known about farming specifically?
One thing I wish I would have, I wish that I had, this is so sad. I knew this, but let's go with the thing that I wish I had done. I did not pay attention to my numbers. It's like I'm very mission driven. So this is a mission. I'm a for-profit, but we are focused on a mission that we want to achieve. And so it's like I want to grow and I want to do more. And I wish I kept better track of my numbers along the way so I could make the wisest investments and decisions. And again, I was a commercial banker. I still do financial consulting, but that spot is kind of like the cobbler's kids go barefoot. I wish I'd done more of that.
Well, you were just so focused on the mission, you just thought that'd take care of itself for a little while.
Yeah, but you gotta fund it. You gotta fund it.
Well, this has been great. We appreciate you taking the time to do this. I hope everybody enjoys getting to know Phil and his farm, and we certainly hope everybody will follow Hopewell Farms GA and Meathead Charcoal on Instagram. Put them together. It's a heck of a combo.
And there's seasonings and sauces. I mean, it's not just about what you grill it on. The whole shebang for Meathead.
That's right.
Well, I will say real quick, obviously I love you guys, and Meathead really is the best. And I love that you all are all natural. Because truly, we put a tremendous amount of effort into making all-natural product. And it would make me very sad for that all-natural product to be cooked over some disgusting chemically drenched charcoal trash So I love, and I mean, that's less healthy too. So I would love, but a big mentor and hero of ours is White Oak Pastures in South Georgia. And when I was last there visiting and I saw Meathead there, then that made me very happy too.
Yeah.
You're all over
Love
the
to
place.
hear it.
Yeah,
Thank
baby.
you. Well, we appreciate Phil being with us today. We certainly hope everybody enjoyed learning about the farm. Hope you'll go follow Hopewell Farms GA and Meathead Charcoal on Instagram. And for full format videos, please see Meathead Charcoal on YouTube.